I will be sharing her video. She talks about the big beautiful bill and ICE and how they grabbing our people. So now you know I posted videos about this in the past. How the prison system is just the way that they get free labor from the prisoners. So you notice how all the jobs are going away, especially in Texas, Tennessee, and all that area. So Jehovah told me that the reason they're doing this is because they are working. They're the workforce now. They're working for free. They're making the people that they grabbing off the street, who they call the immigrants, and they have them in these camps in their free labor. That's what they're doing because the Pharaoh always oppressed Jehovah's children, right? So that's what's happening. And you notice how Tennessee also had a snowstorm and a lot of people lost electricity and power. These agents are there breaking down doors, dragging people to these camps, and that's why the job market and the companies are drying up. They're drying up because they're getting free labor from these people, from our people. That's what they're doing. And the beginning of this country, when they came over here, they paid people for each scalp of every woman, man, and child. The government will pay them as proof that they killed us, the red nations. So as the job market starts to dry up, more people will be joining ICE to hunt down the red nations. So this is the genocide of our people all over again.
Listen to me good, because it's going to be a lot of information coming at you fast, but it's super important that everybody in the United States hear this. You could download it, you could share it, you don't need to tag me. It is just information that you guys need. When the big beautiful bill was signed into legislation via Congress, it allocated $170 billion. That's already happened to ICE, to the Department of Homeland Security. There is another bill that Congress is about to pass for another $28 billion to go to the FBI as well as ICE. ICE now has the largest law enforcement budget. It is larger than all law enforcement agencies combined, okay? Why are they funneling them so much money? They are building their own private prison system. This is already underway. It is already being done. It is overseen by the FBI. They don't answer to the judges. They don't answer to anybody but the President of the United States. So the President of the United States of America will have his own prison system. It is an industrial prison system. He profits off of people being in jail, okay? That's how the American prison system has always worked. ICE agents are able to act with full impunity, and they are going to get paid for imprisoning you. ICE agents are also being trained by the IDF, which is the Israeli Defense Forces. The IDF is the Israeli army that is responsible for committing the genocide against Palestine. I'll let you fall down the rabbit hole and watch all of the footage of all of the horror they are inflicting upon the Palestinian people. But these are the people responsible for training ICE in crowd responses. So ICE's job is to specifically antagonize the American citizens so that they can act with full impunity, whether it's murdering them or imprisoning them. If they murder you, then they get rid of what they would consider a dissenter. If they imprison you, then they have a slave to make money off of. Either way, your interactions with ICE guarantee that the president makes more profit off of the citizens of the United States of America. And the most cruelest army we have seen in modern history is the one responsible for training ICE, but it doesn't stop there. Larry Ellison and Peter Thiel are American billionaires who are Israeli Zionists. They are outwardly donating money to the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. They are in support of Israel and the current genocide happening to Palestine. These are American billionaires, and they are billionaires by way of developing AI surveillance software. Currently, Israel and the IDF are using this AI surveillance software to help implement the genocide. It's also used in the United Kingdom for their digital ID, and ICE agents are already illegally using AI surveillance software provided to them by Israeli Zionists. All of this is intertwined. And if you're just new to this, Peter Thiel is also currently investing in offshore AI equipment that will mine minerals and gold in Greenland, anticipating the president is going to invade. So all of this is undoubtedly for the profit of the ruling billionaire class. What does that mean if you're a Trump supporter? It means this has fuck all to do with immigration. What does this mean if you're not a Trump supporter? It means that as an activist or even just a liberal, you are a dissenter. You are a target, and they very much have the surveillance software they need to determine who you are, where you live, and furthermore, target you. Now, I know a lot of you gung-ho Republicans are thinking, well, the army is going to come and save the American people. No, it's not. The Secretary of the Department of Defense is a man by the name of Steven Feinberg. Steven Feinberg is a Zionist. Steven Feinberg owns the second largest bank in Israel. Steven Feinberg owns an American company. He is a billionaire. It is called Capital Management. Capital Management's sole purpose is to provide privatized military contracts to the United States Department of Defense, which he is the secretary of. It's also massively important that we remind Americans they just failed their financial audit and can account for $506 billion of American taxpayer money that was budgeted to the Department of Defense. Why am I saying all of this? It's more likely that the Army would pair with the FBI, ICE, and IDF to further oppress citizens of the United States. They have made it very well known via Project 25 and Project 26 that they intend on getting rid of 100 million Americans. 100 million Americans is roughly 1/3 of the population in the United States of America. These people are now financed to commit a genocide, capable and willing to commit a genocide, and are operating with the backing, training, and also planning of people who are actively committing a genocide. There has never been a greater risk for the genocide of the citizens of the United States of America than there is at present. It does not matter what your political affiliation is. When AI surveillance kicks in, you will not have free speech. You will not have the constitutional right to peaceful assembly. You will not have the right to bear arms. You will not have freedom of press, and you will not have taxation with representation, because they are adamantly and vigorously funding a police authoritarian state while you don't have health care, while you don't have FEMA relief, while your children's Department of Education for the entire United States of a whole was defunded and funneled into the Department of Labor. They are intentionally letting you know that you and your children will be slaves if you are a Trump loyalist with none of your constitutional rights. And that is the best case scenario for those of you who have white skin in the United States of America. For the rest of everybody else, whether you're an activist, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a minority, whether you're a woman, whether you're a migrant or an illegal migrant, you are a person of interest, and you are undoubtedly under attack, and the war they have declared is on you. I said it before yesterday, and I'm going to say it again today. The President of the United States of America has declared war on the citizens of the United States of America. Minneapolis is a very small example of what is to come for every city in the United States, especially now that they have the budgeting that they need, and they are already A, ramping up operations, B, ramping up recruitment, and C, building their privatized prison facility. You have two options right now. You either fight for your freedom or you leave. It is officially fight or flight time in the United States of America. Do with this information what you will, but first and foremost, I genuinely hope you spread it.
16,000 workers gone at Amazon. Thousands of workers gone at a chemical plant down in Texas. Thousands and thousands across the country. Today, tomorrow, the next day. Yeah, thousands and thousands of people. Over the next 90 days, could be hundreds of thousands of people laid off. It is starting to roll into a tidal wave. They're trying to keep it very, very quiet. They're trying not to talk about it. But yes, over the next 90 days, you could see 200,000-300,000 people laid off from work.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning. That's not summer layoffs. That's not end of the year layoffs. Yeah, we're talking about 1.5 million people to 2 million people this year alone could be laid off. Yeah, it's gaining momentum. It's happening faster and faster. And just so we all know, Washington, they have no plan. So there's going to be a whole lot of people looking for work, and Washington has no plan.
This is real life, guys, and every single day it seems like it just continues to get worse, and we're only 29 days into the new year. And of course, he announced a lot of the layoffs. He forgot to mention UPS, right? Of course, that is another huge layoff. And in terms of the number of what he's talking about, guys, this is a factory over in Texas, and the job market over in Texas, seriously, I kind of just laid off of Texas in terms of, and I mean that like no pun intended, but I laid off, the job market over in Texas because like I kept making videos, and whether this is a tribute to just Texas being a larger state, they got a lot of people over there, or I couldn't really put the name to it, but Texas is experiencing a lot of different things, and this factory right here that he's talking about just announced a restructuring of this whole operations, and it's crazy, but total amount of layoffs that we're seeing at this factory that people are saying is going to cut 4,500 jobs as part of his new Transform to Outperform initiative. This is ridiculous. I can't make this up, seriously. And as I make these videos, it's just so like heartbreaking, because seriously, these are real life people, guys, and the fact that we are layoff the culture has just become normal at this point. But let's dive a little bit deeper. Dow has more than 77,000 employees and nearly 4,500 contractors in Texas, with 6 facilities in Greater Houston. They got Bayport, Deer Park, Freeport, Houston, LaPorte, and also Texas City. Its Freeport site, the largest integrated manufacturing complex in the company's portfolio, has more than 40 plants producing over 40% of Dow's U.S. products, and 25 of it is also global. Now, the restructuring plan announced Thursday aims to streamline operations, boost productivity, and modernize how Dow serves its customers. And we've heard this millions of times within the past 2 years, guys. Seriously, it is so frustrating. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Why is this a new thing?
Building off the side?
That's in Memphis, actually.
It's in Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where you were?
Yeah.
I see.
Memphis, the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about alignment.
I wish that was funny.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
That's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about alignment.
I wish that was funny.
Yeah, right.
They're laughing in your face because you think you studying, you listening to be approved, glancing to be approved, reading over scripture to be approved, doing absolutely nothing to be approved, but he says study yourself to be approved. Hallelujah scriptures. Deuteronomy in Hebrew, chapter 28. By the way, this entire chapter is about the slave trades. And Yahuwah, this is our Creator's real name, shall bring you back to Mitzrayim. This is Egypt in ships. Keeping in mind, America is ancient Egypt, and Elon Musk just told you this to your face.
Memphis, the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yesterday, I posted a video about the 3 Oglala Lakota tribal members who are being held hostage by DHS. And I got a lot of comments that said, well, what are they going to do? Deport Native Americans to where? They've been deporting Native Americans for the past year. I'm gonna need y'all to understand that you guys are participating in indigenous genocide when you continuously call all those brown people being targeted by ICE, Latinos, and Hispanics. This is how they actually cover up indigenous genocide, by reclassifying us. And genocide does not just come in the form of physical genocide, but also cultural genocide, linguistical genocide, and through our own identities. Erasing our identities and reclassifying us into something else is part of indigenous genocide, and I'm gonna need y'all to recognize that. This is why I say it keeps falling on deaf ears. They targeted those men because they're brown. They fit the racial profile of every other Native American being targeted. They just called those other Native Americans Hispanics and Latinos. So if you don't want to actively participate in indigenous genocide, please stop calling brown people who are being targeted Latinos and Hispanics and call it what the fuck it is. It's the racial targeting of Native Americans, regardless if they're tribal members or if they're detribalized. Don't be complicit.